Om Namo Narayana. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back, as we are about halfway through Canto 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's funny, I was watching a talk by a ISKCON guru the other day who was saying that to be a devotee of his, you had to read Cantos 1 and 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that was what he demanded. But you could do more, and I don't know if you had to read more after you became a devotee. This was sort of his own thing. He's a teacher I like, but he's strict and has these requirements. And I see reading Canto 2 why that might be. Canto 1, okay, it was an interesting story of Krishna and it sets the stage, but okay, I got that. Now, another teacher I was ironically listening to yesterday was talking about the Bhagavatam. Didn't expect that. He had a new video posted, and he was talking about you have to read Canto 9. Canto 9 is where it's at. That is it. That, he says, is the one you should be reading. And I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. And he didn't say this was required for his students, but he was discussing it because he said if you the Bhagavatam is the book, like this is one of the books, and if you wanna know it, just study chapter 9. I can only imagine, being that I'm on 2, what 9 looks like. But I found this really interesting in that these two teachers have such different views of what to do with the 12 volumes. Neither of them are telling people to read all 12 volumes, probably because they know nobody will. Maybe we will here, though. I don't know. That was interesting. To me, maybe there's a teacher out there that is recommending volume 6 or volume 4 and 5. I don't know. I just thought this was really interesting. But here we go. Not volume 5. Chapter 5. The Cause of All Causes. Sri Narada Muni asked Brahmaji, O chief among the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the supersoul. My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is the background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? My dear father, all this is known to you, scientifically, because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at the present, as well as everything within the universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. My dear father, what is the source of your knowledge? Under whose protection are you standing? And under whom are you working? What is your real position? Do you alone create all entities with material elements by your personal energy? As the spider very easily creates the network of its cobwebs and manifests its power of creation without being defeated by others, so also you yourself, by employment of your self-sufficient energy, create without any other's help. Whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal or temporary, is not created from any source other than that of your lordship, thou so great. Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you, when we think of your great austerities and perfect discipline, although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation. My dear father, you know everything, and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me, so that I may be able to understand it as your student. Lord Brahmana said, My dear boy Narada, being merciful to all, including me, you have asked all these questions because I have been inspired to see into the prowess of the almighty personality of Godhead. Whatever you have spoken about me is not false, because unless and until one is aware of Lord Vishnu, who is the ultimate truth beyond me, one is sure to be illusioned by observing my powerful activities. I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence. Just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. I offer my obeisances and meditate upon Lord Krishna, Vasudeva, Lord Vishnu, whose invincible potency influences them, that being the less intelligent class of men, to call me the Supreme Controller. The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position, but those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in thoughts of, it is I, and it is mine. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set up by eternal time, and the intuition or the nature of the individual living beings, are all differentiated parts and parcels of Lord Vishnu, Vasudeva, and in truth there is no other value in them. The Vedic literatures are made by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord, or parts of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and different sacrifices are performed just to please him. All different types of meditation and mysticism are means for realizing Narayana, and all austerities are aimed at achieving Narayana. Excuse the pronunciation. Culture of transcendental knowledge is for getting a glimpse of Narayana, and ultimately salvation is entering the kingdom of Narayana. Inspired by him only, I discover what is created by him under his vision as the all-pervading supersoul, and I also am created by him only. We're going to pause here for a second. Sorry, I hit Narayana and I just read it wrong. And I didn't want to confuse you by then changing it, and I did. There's a line here that I read and I thought of it, and I want to comment on it for a second. And we'll pick the rest of this chapter up in the next video. Almighty Personality of Godhead, or I often read the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the way they refer to God over and over and over again. Is this correct? Is this a correct translation? I saw a criticism of this translation the other day, a criticism, because Swami Prabhupada used this over and over and over again. And I saw someone saying that it was basically a way of taking an idea to make it relevant to Westerners, us, but isn't really good. It twists things a little bit and creates a false idea of a form of Godhead that may not be accurate. It sets up this idea of personalities and other personalities, and I can't phrase this correctly, but when the criticism said, when we have the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we think of, here's a personality, and then here's a personality, and then here's another personality, and over here is one. But we don't see them as all of Godhead. And it's this whole avatar and whatever thing, and it just really, it just said this was not really, it was good for what he was trying to achieve, but it wasn't really accurate. I don't know. I'm going to throw that out to you. You tell me. The other thing I thought of while reading this, and I actually think I paused. God, oh, here it is. Verse 13. Verse 13. The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, be ashamed of her position. But those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense, being absorbed in thoughts of, it is I, and it is mine. Those who are bewildered by her always talk nonsense. We see, how often do we see, thou art thine, tat avam asmi, or all these lines where people quote these over and I am thou, and it is me, and I am I, and we are all together. And you see those over and over. I actually had someone on Facebook post basically one of those lines on Facebook yesterday. And someone came back, oh, that's so true, and then someone else who I've seen elsewhere on Facebook, who is actually very intelligent and well-read, went, well, that's actually only one perspective. And he was completely right. He was the only person. I didn't comment. I don't think she did either. But actually, and it was a little brash the way he was saying it. It wasn't like, let me expand upon your thought. It was more like, well, you're not really right. But he was actually right. He was right. I see this over and over, and I think we get lost in this line. But if you study it, not everyone believes it exactly. Or let me put it this way: I think "I am I" and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are two phrases that do the ideas an injustice and put some idea into us that maybe is nonsense, and it fills our head with nonsense. And sometimes I wonder why really, really spiritual people don't seem to go very far. And I sometimes think it's because they're teaching nonsense that they think is real, and it sounds real, and it's sort of real, kind of, sort of, but we've put such words into our vocabulary that we get stuck on the words. We put meaning into them, but actually they're nonsense, and the ideas are not right, and we are literally deluding ourselves. Maybe. I might be wrong. I'm not speaking for everybody, and I'm not even saying that I am I, or thou art thee, or whatever it is I are wrong, but maybe these aren't words that really are... You can't put your whole spirituality into that. Or maybe we can. I don't know. I'm just throwing these ideas out. It just came to me as I was reading, and opening up the dialogue to you, for you to come back and respond or agree or disagree or whatever. That's the way it goes. So look forward to those comments. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.